more hits we play, the more hits we get. URLradio.net. Stacey Sturm with another Financial Friday. We have financial gurus in the studio today. We have financial author and CPA Brian Bloom.
Hi, Stacey.
I feel like we're raising the roof, like we're introducing the winning team. And also we have President and CEO of Solid Rock Financial, John Dwyer.
Hey, Stacey, how are you today?
Good. I love the topic today. We are talking about home ownership, which applies to almost everybody. That's the American dream, right? Home ownership.
Absolutely.
That's going to be our way. That's going to be our final investment.
It's our best investment.
It's our most profitable investment, right, guys?
Yes. But if what you thought to be true turned out not to be, when would you want to know? Because
Probably as soon as I bought it.
It's not your best investment.
So tell us, okay, home ownership, that's what people do. And I've heard from day one, two myths. One is put as much as you can into your 401k, which we just dispelled. That's not always the best thing. And also pay off your house as soon as you can. Put all your money, pay off your house right now. That might not always be the best thing either.
Well, and I think it's important, too, to understand that when we talk to our clients about what we call the most misunderstood dream of American home ownership is that we want our clients to have their house paid off. In fact, we show them how to do that, but it's a lot different than what they thought. So I want to first make that point is that we want our clients to be in control of their assets and their resources, but it's a different mentality where we provide verification and truth to, understanding the differences between the mortgage options. Because if you sit back and think, with all the different financial options you have when it comes to a mortgage, if the financial institutions made the same rate of return or same yield on all those options, how many options would they really have?
I suppose one.
They would just have one, right? So what that means to us is that there are some mortgage decisions benefit the financial institutions more than they benefit us as consumers. And there's some decisions that we make as it relates to the mortgage that benefit us more than the financial institutions. So we just help our clients kind of dispel some of these myths around home ownership and really because a lot of times it is a big asset that people have. And we've talked a number of times about losing money unknowingly and unnecessarily away in the form of wealth transfers. And as it relates to home ownership, you better understand the most efficient way to pay for your house.
Well, yeah, I know we've talked before about like 15 versus 30-year mortgage. Because if you take that 15, the interest rate is so much lower. Why wouldn't you do it? But there's probably several reasons why you wouldn't do it.
Well, and you have to understand, too, that there's a lot more conversation to be had than just typically what happens is they'll put down the 30-year mortgage compared to the 15-year mortgage, and they point to the 30 and 15 and say, oh, look at how much interest you're saving.
Right.
As it relates to that loan amount. And the reality is that there's many factors. You have to have in factor inflation. If the financial institutions are really only concerned about interest, you have to sit back and ask yourself, why are they enticing me then to do a 15-year mortgage with a lower interest rate?
There's got to be a reason.
There must be something there, right? And it all comes down to, which many people never take into consideration as it relates to the mortgage. And in fact, about 12 years ago when I saw this calculation, my jaw dropped because I couldn't believe I never took this into consideration, and it has the impact to do with the inflation. The purchasing power that we have on our dollars, if you have a $1,000 mortgage payment and you maintain that mortgage payment for 20 years from now, that mortgage payment's still going to be $1,000.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But what happens to our purchasing power of our dollars as it relates to inflation over those 20-year periods? So 20 years from now, when I make a $1,000 payment, I'm only purchasing $400 to $500 worth of goods, depending on what the inflation rate is.
That's true.
So what does that tell us about our currency, and what does it tell about the value of our dollars? The dollars that we have today are more valuable than the dollars that we have in the future.
So when the bank gives us a 15-year loan, they're wanting our more valuable dollars faster, as opposed to the 30-year loan settling for our less valuable dollars 29 years from now.
And that's exactly what they want us to have, because they understand inflation better than anybody.
Yeah.
They want our valuable dollars today to entice us so they can turn and do what? More loans and create more wealth for them, understanding inflation, that it's going to erode the purchasing power of those dollars in the future. Right? And so their conversation stops and says, look how much interest you're saving.
Right.
Well, you have to turn the coin all the way over, and you need to start looking at opportunity costs. You need to start analyzing inflation. right? Because the reality is, no matter how you pay for your house, whether you pay for it in cash or you take out a loan, you're still financing it.
Right.
And what I mean by that is if you go to the mortgage company and you take out a loan, you're paying interest for the use of those dollars for your house.
Right.
But if you pay cash for that house and you take the money out of an account that's earning 4 or 5%, you are no longer earning 4 or 5% on that money once you drain the account.
Right.
So therefore, you are earning and you are paying interest. You just don't taste it, see it, and smell it.
Yeah.
But see, the conversation never goes that depth because they'll say, look how much money you're saving. The reality is if you have a same interest rate environment and you pull money from the account earning a 4% and you have a 4% mortgage, if you pay 4% or if you pay cash for that house earning 4%, at the end of the day, the house costs you the same amount of money as it did if you financed it. But now you've given up all the liquidity, use, and control of that investment.
Now, you were speaking of using your house as an investment, you were just talking about how people don't understand exactly how that works, Brian.
Yeah, from a different perspective, not necessarily the mortgage. My parents bought our family home 50 years ago, and we just moved my mom closer to us, and we put the house on the market yesterday, as a matter of fact, and Mom and Dad paid $40,000 for their house. And it's going to sell for $300,000. And Mom said, wow, we quadrupled our money.
Yeah, look at all that profit.
Look at all that profit. And you see, that's we focus on the wrong number. See, she might see a gain of $260,000. But over 50 years, that's like 4%.
That's
so
not
she
great.
would have had to invest her $40,000 at 4% in order to get the $300,000 today. But then I said, Mom, that's not true either. Because didn't you pay property taxes? Didn't you pay homeowners insurance? Didn't you put a new roof on the house? And so when I factored that in, all the expenses over 50 years of holding that home, her rate of return is negative.
Oh, my God.
You see, it costs money to live inside.
Yeah.
These homes are, they're great. They give us a big bundle of money at the end, but in fact it was a negative rate of return when you calculate everything into it. And that's what people have to learn to do, is calculate everything. And I'm not saying you shouldn't own a home, but understand what you have.
It's not all profit.
It's not our greatest asset. It costs money to live inside.
That's true. Yeah, I suppose if you think about it, like if I had an air conditioner go out, that's $4,000 this year.
Right.
I had a water heater go out. That was $700.
Right.
And then I had to fix a couple things. So total, I spent $6,000 on the house. Now, if I sold the house today, I probably make about $10,000 is what they. But I'm not really making $10,000 because it cost me all that money to live
That's
there.
right. That's right. Yeah. You know, a home is a place to grow your families, not your money.
That should be a T-shirt.
You stole the line.
That might already be a T-shirt. I don't know. So then if people come, like if I'm one of your clients, John, and I come in and I say, what should I do? Should I, the interest rates have dropped. Should I switch? Should I switch to a 15? Should I switch to a 30? How would you work with me on that?
So we actually have a whole conversation around mortgages and helping you understand what's the most efficient way for you to pay for that asset. And you get to make the determination. And once you factor in interest, opportunity costs, inflation, having access to your capital and maintaining, I mean, when you think about it, with as low as interest rates are right now, they're probably the lowest that we'll ever see. Why would you not want to and use somebody else's money for as long as in the future as you possibly can at such a low interest rate environment? Why would anybody be in a hurry to accelerate and pay that off, right? True. But see, people don't think about that. They get bombarded by the information and just look at the interest you're saving on a 15-year mortgage. Well, if what you thought turned out not to be true, when do you want to know about it?
Yeah, right from the get-go.
Right from the get-go. And so there's the conversations that we have with our clients as it relates to everything they're doing. And I'll even tie this back into a couple of things that we were talking about as it relates to coordinating and integrating assets. There's a lot of times, which we just talked about qualified plans last week, there's a lot of times when people on the way to work, they're maxing out their 401ks, reducing their income today. And on the way home, they're accelerating and paying off their mortgage and killing one of the only deductions that they have.
True.
At the end of the day, they're going to have one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, right? So there's no coordination and integration to that decision.
I guess a lot of people don't understand that they forget that they're losing that write-off until it comes to tax time. Then they're like, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to save taxes or do you want to spend taxes? I mean, in that example John gave, in one case, they're choosing to pay less taxes, and in the other one, they're choosing to pay more taxes.
Right.
What do you want? People don't realize that they're all coordinated together.
Yep. And so we just help our clients understand that. So if you were to come into our office, we have a whole conversation, a whole meeting just around mortgages, because it is one of the bigger assets that people have starting out, right? And helping them understand how much you want to pay to sleep inside, and you better understand the most efficient way to pay for it so it benefits you, not the financial institutions.
So if I want to sit down with you and have a meeting, how long is it going to take? How long is our first meeting, John?
The first meeting is about an hour and a half. And we just,
what kind of stuff would you want me to bring in on our first meeting?
First meeting, you don't need to bring anything in. It's more of just me asking you a lot of questions to see if you're a good fit for our planning process. And then we'll give you a little insight to what we do and what our belief systems are and what we believe and show you our planning process. And at that point in time, we make a decision whether or not we're a good fit.
And if people want to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you?
They can call our office at 701-223-1000. They can speak with Misty, who has my calendar and is able to schedule a time to meet.
What would you do if Misty died?
I'd be out of luck.
You wouldn't know who the hell you're meeting with.
She's right, John. I think Misty needs a raise.
I think Misty has a lot of blackmail she could possibly use now. She's got a lot of leverage.
You can call the office at 701-223-1000 and ask for John Dwyer. No, and then you can also visit our website, www.srfinancial.net. S is in solid, R is in rock, financial.net.
Perfect. And if people want to get a hold of you, Brian, for any questions?
Sure, I respond pretty well to email, so they can email me at bbloom@theamericagroup.com.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being in today.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about qualified plans. You're listening to Financial Friday on urlradio.net.